Hey howdy hey everybody, this is Josh aka Mario Bones, bringing you yet another Disney Infinity 2.0 video. This time we're looking at someone from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's none other than Yondu Udanda. Oh, and look, some enemies have showed up right away. That makes things handy. Yondu is a pretty interesting character because he's got a heaps of ranged moves, even in his normal triangle combo, like you can see there. Yeah, he chucks heaps of arrows at the end of his combo. And he's also got some really cool ranged moves. He's got his, I think they're called Yaka arrows. If you upgrade them enough, as you can see there, it'll stun enemies. And it makes things really easy because you can just keep chucking them and they're stunned and taking damage. And they even penetrate a bit, so if the enemies are right behind each other, you can stun all of them at once. And see, look, dead without having to do much. So he's kind of a little unbalanced against small groups of enemies. Let's see if anyone else will show up. Doesn't look like it. So with that in mind, let's have a look at his skill tree. As per usual, he's got his increased damage, more combo attacks, special move boosts, that sort of thing. So what makes him unique? Well, in terms of abilities, he only has a super jump, which seems a bit weird, but combat wise he's perfectly, or more than capable, so it makes up for it in that regard. You can boost his speed, increase his super jump, and over here where he's got his interesting things which increase the capabilities of his arrows. This is the move I was talking about before that enables you to stun enemies. You don't have to charge it, it just activates as soon as it hits an enemy. And his charged attack allows it to ricochet between enemies. And his arrow, if you've seen the movie, that's the thing that he controls by whistling. And in the game, it's not quite, like you can't control it exactly like he can in the movie, because that'd probably be a little broken. But you can hear him whistling when he uses his attacks. There's different whistles for each of his attacks, which is pretty cool. And you can increase the number of targets it'll ricochet between. And I think, yeah, here it is. You can also upgrade it so that on its final target, the arrow will explode. I haven't gotten to that upgrade yet, so I imagine it looks pretty cool. But yeah, I won't be able to show that off for you, unfortunately. His special move is actually really cool. I'll try and show that off when we find some enemies. And I think, yeah, that's in his unblockable attack. Do I have that unlocked at the moment? No, I don't have his unblockable attack. But I can show off his arrows, which are easily the coolest part of his moveset. See if I can find some enemies. So yeah, I'm in the Guardians of the Galaxy playset at the moment, as you could probably tell. He doesn't add any new missions into the playset, but he can play through anything that doesn't require specific abilities. Like if it needs super jump, you can play with that because he's got the super jump. But if there's anything that needs flight, I'm not sure if there is in this playset, but if there is, you can't do that with him. But any of the story missions, most of the side content, and he's pretty fun to play with, so he'll make the playset a bit more enjoyable. I'll show off his charge attack, so you can kind of hear the whistle in the background. You can get interrupted pretty easily. So. Oh, whoops, didn't charge it all the way. Wait, what? I thought I did. Oh, there you go. See, it ricochets between enemies. It's really cool. Stuns them a little, and goes between heaps of enemies, so it's really cool. He's a lot like Merida, if you saw my Merida video. He's kind of like the opposite of her, because she had her normal range attack ricochets, well, you can charge it up to freeze enemies, but his is the opposite, where his normal arrows will stun and he can charge it up to ricochet. Looks like we've got enough for our special move now, so let's see if I can find anyone. If not, I'll just use it because it does look really cool on its own anyway. Yeah, can't get in there. Probably not going to find anyone, which is a shame. always forget where I'm going in this playset, it's a bit confusing. Ooh, I think I heard someone land. Am I imagining things? And maybe I do that sometimes. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone's gonna show up. Oh! Speak of the devil. Alrighty. Let's see if I can get him in a group, because that'll show off how... There we go. Whee! So it's a bit like Captain America's, I think it is, where he spins his shield around in a circle. Except he uses arrows instead, and flings a few arrows out at different angles. So if you're surrounded by a heap of enemies, that'll be a really good one to use. Oh, why am I stuck blocking? That was weird. See, his super move seems to be one of the more useful ones, but I never bother upgrading super moves. Like I was saying, yep, just keep ramming them with the arrows. It's, yeah, kind of unbalanced, but you know, I'm not complaining. What else do I have to show? I've showed off your super jump, haven't I? Yep. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a super jump. Whee. I think that's pretty much all show off, so... Oh, excuse me. I'll pop over into the Escape from the Kyln toy box game and show him in action a bit more in combat, and hopefully you'll get a bit of a better feel for how he plays. So, I will swap that over now. There we go. I'll see you after the cut. See you soon. Alrighty, here we are back in Escape from the Kyln. If you've seen my Green Goblin video, yeah, subtle plug, then you would have seen me show this off a bit earlier. If you've got the Disney toy box set and you've played the Brave Forest Siege game, this is pretty much that, but with Marvel characters. And spacey and grey and stuff. And if you bought the Marvel the Marvel starter set, then you've probably already played this. And if you haven't, you should, because it's actually surprisingly in depth. It's like this full dungeon crawler thing where you go between levels, get loot for your little sidekick buddies, and yeah, it's pretty neat. That's right, I've got to wait for it to load because I'm a last gen peasant playing on PS3. Might have to investigate the PC version. The PC version of the first one was a bit weird, but I think I saw that the PC version of this one has the playsets and everything, so that might be something to look into. Oh, I don't think I showed up his aerial attack today. Just thought of that then. So those arrows can actually hit enemies, but yeah, unless you're fighting like a boss, it's pretty hard to hit with it. And then he's got that cool explosion which knocks everything away. I forgot to mention it before, but he's a pretty agile character. You can go in for a few hits, leap away, and of course his 4th or 5th hit, whatever it is, he does that little dodge roll away and fires the arrows, so you can normally time it so that when your enemy's about to attack, you can use that one and get out of the way. Speaking of getting out of the way, I'll be quiet for a bit and show him off in action.
What's the matter? Can't take the heat?
So he's a pretty funny character. You'll mostly use him for range. I think that seems to be where he's best at. Those arrows are just ridiculous. They do so much damage. You can stun enemies. You can hit them all at once in a group. Yeah, it's crazy. So you can hear him whistling there, like I was saying before. The arrow is made out of some special material that reacts to sound. I was looking into Yondu from the comics to compare him to the movies, and he's a lot different. He was like a tribal hunter sort of thing, who yeah, he had the bow and arrow, and he could change the directory of his arrows with his whistling and stuff. That's pretty much the only bit of his character they kept, but yeah, it's not that big a deal. He worked well in the movie. Escape from the Kyln is pretty much just gotta fight, not really waves. Yeah, enemies will get in your way. You have to find switches to open doors, or kill specific enemies to get keys and that sort of thing. And then along the way there's little side sections you can explore, which will have loot for you to find, and sparks. Yeah, you get quite a bit of sparks. So using the toy store for the toy box. The combat's pretty fun in this game. It's like a lot more fleshed out than the first game, so yeah, they've put a much bigger focus on the combat, and it works well, so yeah. Can't remember how to do this, but I think I've got to go over here. And I leveled up, so let's see if there's anything neat I can show off. More ricochets, bigger super jump. Oh, I think that's his unblockable attack, isn't it? Yeah, I can show that up, which is lucky. And then let's increase the number of ricochets his arrows do. Oh, that's pretty cool. He uses his arrows in his unblockable attack too. So that's the cool thing about him, like even his attacks, like normally the normal triangle or Y attacks are physical based, but he's got heaps of attacks that are ranged at, while not being his actual ranged attack. So he doesn't get hit very often. Should just be one more key somewhere. Well, they're not the keys. I think they're called pressure plate. No, I can't remember. They've got actual names in the toy box. I can't remember what they are. Not important. Let's kill things. You're supposed to collect 4, except it actually registers you as pushing down the buttons. So you can just push that one yourself, and cheating the system. I gotta go back over here. Oh, where am I going? Picking up enemies is my favorite thing. especially when they're strong enough to drop kick him. Alrighty, I'm probably not going to get to the end of the level. I think you've seen everything you need to see. Don't need to drag it out for any reason. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and got a good feel for Yondu. Like I was saying, he's fun, really ranged focused, but doesn't suffer for it. Like, it's probably his biggest strength. You can just stay out of conflict and still do heaps of damage. And with small groups of enemies you can cheese your way through with the stun attack. And he's agile, so if you do get into battles you can usually get your way out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like or subscribe if you want, but that's your decision. I'm not going to force you. You can make your own decisions. You're a grown up now. And until next time, toodaloo.